What if everything you were taught about handling life's hardest moments was wrong? What if the answer wasn't to fight harder, stress more, or hustle endlessly, but to think differently? Over 2,000 years ago, a group of philosophers discovered a set of mental principles so powerful, so precise, that they allowed ordinary men to endure extraordinary pressure and not just survive it, but master it. Emperors used these principles to lead empires. Slaves used them to find freedom in chains. And today, in a world drowning in distraction, anxiety, and noise, these same principles are the difference between a man who reacts and a man who commands. These are the 12 Stoic principles that can transform your life, not in theory, but starting right now. Welcome to Master Your Mind, the place where ancient philosophy becomes practical mental strength. Here we explore Stoic wisdom, iron discipline, and the mindset required to remain calm, focused, and powerful in a chaotic world. And today we are going to explore something most people completely underestimate: the 12 timeless Stoic principles that, when applied consistently, have the power to reshape the way you think, act, and move through life. Let's get into it. Principle 1. Control what you can, release what you can't. The first and most foundational Stoic principle is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery and rose to become one of history's greatest philosophers, built his entire philosophy on one simple truth: some things are within our power, and some things are not. Your thoughts, your choices, your response to circumstances, these belong to you. The traffic, the weather, the opinions of other people, these do not. And yet, most people spend the majority of their mental energy obsessing over exactly the things they cannot change. They stew in traffic. They replay arguments in their heads. They lose sleep over what others might think of them. The Stoic practice is radical in its simplicity. Identify what is within your control, pour everything into it, and release the rest, not with defeat, but with the calm power of a person who knows where their strength actually lives. The moment you stop fighting reality and start directing your energy with precision, your entire relationship with stress begins to change. Principle 2. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote it plainly in his private journals, the journals he never intended the world to read. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not poetic optimism. This is a battle-tested mental strategy. Every failure carries inside it the exact instruction manual for how to succeed the next time. Every rejection points precisely to the gap you need to close. Every setback is a resistance workout for your character. The untrained mind asks, "Why is this happening to me?" The Stoic mind asks, "What is this teaching me, and how do I use it?" That single shift in question changes the entire outcome. Stop treating obstacles like interruptions to your progress. They are your progress. Principle 3. Live in the present. This moment is all you have. You have probably heard it 1,000 times. Live in the present. But the Stoics understood something deeper than a motivational phrase. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not as advice, as a command." Because the mind that is constantly dragged into the past is carrying weight that no longer exists. The mind that is always anxious about the future is suffering problems that haven't arrived yet and may never arrive. The present moment is the only place where action is possible. It is the only place where clarity exists. It is the only place you are truly alive. Begin practicing this with the smallest moments. When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you are with someone, be fully there. This is not passive. This is one of the most demanding mental disciplines a person can develop. Principle 4. Build self-discipline. It is the foundation of everything. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is not restriction. It is the highest form of self-respect. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than almost anyone. He had access to every pleasure, every excess, every distraction an empire could offer. And yet he chose discipline. He chose the early morning. He chose discomfort over comfort when it mattered. Because the Stoics knew something modern culture has almost completely forgotten. Real freedom is not the ability to do anything you want in any moment. Real freedom is the mastery over your own impulses, your own attention, your own desires. The person who is controlled by every craving, every distraction, every fleeting emotion, that person is not free. They are a slave to circumstance. Start small, choose one area, close the gap between what you say you value and how you actually spend your time. Do that consistently, and you are building something no external force can take from you. Principle 5. Develop emotional resilience. Feel it, don't be controlled by it. The Stoics were not emotionless. That is one of the great misunderstandings about this philosophy. They felt deeply, but they trained themselves to respond, not react. There is a vast difference between the two. A reaction happens automatically, driven by the raw force of an emotion. A response happens after a pause, after the space between stimulus and action is used with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Emotional resilience is not built by avoiding difficult feelings. It is built by moving through them with awareness. Acknowledge what you feel, understand where it comes from, then choose your next action based on your values, not on the loudest emotion in the room. This is the discipline that separates those who are led by life from those who lead it. Principle 6. Memento Mori. Remember you will die. This is the principle that most people avoid and the one that has the most immediate power to change your life. Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. This was not meant to be dark. It was meant to be clarifying. When you hold the reality of your mortality in full awareness, the things that are wasting your life become obvious. The arguments that don't matter, the approval you're chasing, the dreams you keep postponing, the relationships you're neglecting, all of it comes into sharp focus. The Stoics used this awareness not as a source of fear, but as a catalyst for presence, for courage, for living in a way they could be proud of. Your time is not unlimited. Live accordingly. Principle 7. Practice gratitude. What you have is already enough. Marcus Aurelius began each morning not with ambition but with gratitude. He wrote of the privilege of being alive, of being able to think, to breathe, to choose. The Stoics understood something that modern psychology is only now confirming. Happiness is not the result of getting more. It is the result of seeing clearly what is already there. In a world that is engineered to keep you focused on what you lack, on what others have that you don't, on the gap between where you are and where you think you should be, the practice of gratitude is an act of resistance. It is a daily decision to see the abundance that already surrounds you. Start simply. At the end of each day, identify 3 things, however small, that deserve your acknowledgement. Not because everything is perfect, but because training your attention toward what is real and present builds a mind that is genuinely harder to shake. Principle 8. Pursue personal excellence. Be the standard. Marcus Aurelius wrote words that cut straight to the core. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Personal excellence in the Stoic sense has nothing to do with perfection. It has nothing to do with external achievement, status, or recognition. It is about setting your own standard based on your values, not on society's expectations, and then relentlessly closing the gap between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. Excellence is not a destination. It is a daily practice. It is the choice to bring your full effort to whatever is in front of you, to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. To rise after failure, not with fragility, but with the quiet determination of a person who refuses to stop growing. Principle 9. Stop seeking validation. Your worth comes from within. We live in an era designed to make you dependent on external approval. Algorithms reward attention-seeking. Social media quantifies your worth in likes and followers. And most people are building their identity on a foundation that shifts every time the numbers change. The Stoics identified this trap over 2,000 years ago. Epictetus taught that the opinions of others are outside our control and therefore not worth our peace. Seneca wrote that true contentment comes from within, from living in alignment with your own principles, not from the applause of the crowd. This does not mean isolation or arrogance. It means building an inner foundation so solid that the opinions of the world can be heard without determining your direction. You are not what others think of you. You are what you do when no one is watching. Start there. Principle 10. Embrace change. Go with the tide, not against it. Everything changes. That is not a problem. It is the nature of existence. The river does not mourn the shape of the bank it carved yesterday. Marcus Aurelius accepted this with extraordinary clarity. Loss, change, transition, these are not interruptions to life, they are life itself. The Stoic response to change is not passive resignation, it is active adaptation. It is asking, given that this is now my reality, what is the wisest next move? The person who fights change wastes their energy on an unwinnable war. The person who flows with it, who finds the lesson and the opportunity within the shift, moves through the world with a kind of power that others cannot manufacture. Practice identifying change not as a threat, but as a redirection. Every ending is also a new opening. The Stoic knows this in their bones. Principle 11. Cultivate compassion. We are all in this together. This principle is often overlooked when people think of Stoicism because we tend to associate it with Stoic coldness, with emotional distance, with the lone warrior hardened against the world. But Marcus Aurelius wrote something quite different. What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee. The Stoics understood that human beings are social by nature, that our strength and our suffering are deeply connected to those around us. Compassion, genuine, active compassion is not weakness. It is a form of wisdom. It requires you to recognize that every person you encounter is fighting a battle you may know nothing about, that behind every difficult behavior is a story, a wound, a fear. This does not mean tolerating harm. It means approaching even conflict with a frame of understanding. Because the person who can lead with empathy, who can remain firm in their values while still seeing the humanity in others, is a person who creates real, lasting impact in the world. Principle 12. Reflect and review. The examined life is the powerful life. Marcus Aurelius didn't just live his principles. He examined them every day. In writing, Meditations, the most powerful private journal in human history, was never meant to be published. It was a man holding himself accountable, asking the hard questions. What did I do today that aligned with my values? Where did I fall short? What can I do better tomorrow? Epictetus taught his students to end each day with this review, not as self-punishment, but as self-awareness. Because a life lived without reflection is a life spent on autopilot, reacting to whatever environment presents itself, never truly steering. Take 5 minutes at the end of your day, sit in silence, review, not with judgment, but with honest curiosity. This is how character is built, not through grand gestures, but through daily quiet examination. The person who knows themselves clearly is the person no circumstance can permanently defeat. These 12 principles are not just ideas to admire. They are a blueprint to be lived. And if you are serious about actually building this kind of mindset, about transforming philosophy into real, practical mental discipline that changes how you think, how you act, and how you lead your life, then the Master Your Mind program was created exactly for this. Inside the program, you will learn how to build the emotional control, mental clarity, and philosophical discipline required to remain strong, focused, and grounded in a world that is constantly pulling you off course. This is not motivation. This is a training system designed to forge the kind of mind that does not break under pressure. You will find the link in the description. If you're ready to move from knowledge to transformation, it's waiting for you. And if this message resonated with you, if something in these 12 principles stirred something inside you, subscribe to the channel and stay committed to the path of self-mastery. Because here, every single day, we explore the ideas, the discipline, and the philosophy that help you build a stronger mind and a more intentional life. This is not a place for passive consumption. This is a place for people who are done living on autopilot. I'll see you in the next video.